ribbon cutting ceremony. We are excited that you could join us for this special event today, and we will begin our ceremony by asking the superintendents, if they look ready, from districts 3, 4, and 5 to come forward. And here we go. On this day of August 11th, 2019, the Anderson Institute of Technology is now open to serve the students, parents, and the community of Anderson County. Superintendents, please cut the ribbon. All right.
All right, anytime you're ready, talk to me about why we're here today and why this is important for Anderson County.
We're here today because the dream for Anderson County has come true. Conversations that were had years ago between Brian White, Bobby Hitt, Secretary of Commerce, Tommy Dunn, Anderson County Council, and everybody expressed a need for a technical industrial high school. There wasn't one in the state of South Carolina. There were some that might have been, they were close, but they weren't truly dedicated. And so the talk got started, and thank God the Board of Trustees of 3 different schools and 3 different superintendents had that vision also, and they came together and they put this project together, and we're here today to officially open it up. So this is a great day. And it's a great day because it's going to put us so far ahead in economic development, people won't believe it. But one of the things is we were selling industry on this building before the building was here. And so it's just a great day for Anderson County. But the key thing is, in 25 years, nobody will know that anybody was here today doing anything. Well, there'll be a whole lot of people who are living a good life in Anderson County because of this day.
And the corporate sponsors help make this possible too.
Corporate sponsors help make this possible, and a huge seed grant from Representative Brian White made this possible, because the statement was made if somebody would step up, he would go to bat and find the money, and they stepped up and he went and found several $1 million. So it's a great day for Anderson County, and we're just proud to be part of it.
Here today is important, and why you're here.
This is a fabulous example of school districts working together. We've got districts 3, 4, and 5 going together to form an Institute of Technology. And the technical jobs all jobs now are in the technical fields. And we're in a dire need of this kind of workforce in South Carolina. And this is one of the examples of our school system coming together to help us meet the needs of that.
And the legislative delegation had a big part in this.
We did our part. They brought us a brainchild, and we were all on board. Can't say enough about our delegation and also the House Representatives in the Senate, along with the governor, with our initiatives to try to push this type of education in our public schools.
And how's this going to help economic development in the area?
It's going to be perfect. We've been very fortunate in Anderson County to bring good, high-paying technical jobs to our county. This is going to help us start supplying the workforce. It'll also complement Tri-County Tech, which is right in the backyard of this facility, along with our Career and Technology Center, Districts 1 and 2, that's been there for a long time. All these components working together is going to bring us a stable, educated workforce that we need.
Thanks, man.
Good afternoon and welcome to the ribbon cutting and opening ceremonies of the dedication of the Anderson Institute of Technology. Thank you for being here. It looks like we have around 300 people. The auditorium here will seat around 400, so thank you for being here today. I'm going to introduce Ben Hoover, who will be the MC of the events for today. Ben and I go back a few years down in Lexington County, where he was many times the on-site reporter for a local TV station there at my previous center down in Lexington 5. So we appreciate very much Ben being here. Big supporter of career and technical education. He, a few weeks ago, headed up, was the MC for the Education Business Summit in Greenville with attendance of about 2,000 people. And Ben, we appreciate you taking your Sunday afternoon to be here with us, and thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Couch. And from what I remember, I was a judge for a food competition in the culinary section. So anytime you need a judge, over here, I'm all about it. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Anderson Institute of Technology's ribbon cutting ceremony. At this time, we would like to recognize our school board of trustees and elected officials. Thank you for joining us for this celebration. Could you please stand and be recognized? You know who you are. We are pleased Reverend James Klingscales, pastor of Royal Baptist Church, is able to be here to deliver our invocation.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is retired pastor of Royal Baptist Church. Let us bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, what a joy, what a great fellowship, what an opportunity it is that we can come together at this particular time to just say thank you. Thank you for being so good to us. Thanking you, Father, for bringing us thus far. And we're thanking you already for the direction you are sending us. We thank you for the vision. We thank you for this institute, God. It is our prayer, Father, that it will be used as you see fit. We glorify you and we lift you up for being the God that you are. We just come together on one accord right now to say thank you, praying, Father, that all that is done in this place, all the effort that is put forth in this place will be for your glory. And we will always remember to say thank you, for you've been so good to us and you are worthy of praise. Now, it is our prayer that you will continue to dwell in Anderson County. You will continue to bless these superintendents. You will continue to bless the staffs, Father, and continue to be with us in all things that we do. And we will always be careful to give you the praise, honor, and the glory. For us in Jesus' name we ask it. Amen.
Okay, thank you to our retired reverend. On behalf of the greater Anderson County community, we want to welcome everyone to this celebration of the opening of the Anderson Institute of Technology. From the idea generated by Superintendent Tom Wilson to seek community support for a penny tax to expand educational facilities within Anderson County, and specifically the funding of this institute, the idea has become reality as we share in this celebration today. Mr. Wilson sought support from across all sectors of the community to build the partnerships required to enable this project to happen. The partnership among School Districts 3, 4, and 5 with the support of Superintendents Kathy Hipp and Dr. Joanne Avery and the 3 school boards, this will enable students from Crescent, Pendleton, T.L. Hanna, and Westside High Schools to have the opportunity to attend AIT and graduate college-ready and career-ready. Other major partnerships were built with Anderson County, the City of Anderson, the Office of Economic Development, Anderson Chamber of Commerce, United Way, educational partners, as well as businesses who were also included with formal partnerships with Michelin North America and Robert Bosch LLC. And of course, we can't forget our great partners within workforce development, community-based partners, and the citizens here in the greater Anderson area. The penny tax was passed, and we are now ready to launch the opening of the Anderson Institute of Technology. This will become a state and national model with hundreds of visitors coming to view this state-of-the-art facility with high-level programs being offered to prepare students to enter a global workforce and be successful. That's worthy of a round of applause. And at this time, we would like to recognize Mr. Rusty Burns, Anderson County Administrator, to come forward and share his comments regarding the impact that AIT in Anderson County will have on future workforce and on economic development. Mr. Burns? Thank you, Dan.
I left my glasses, so I'm going to do the best I can. But on behalf of the Anderson County Council, we appreciate this invitation to be here with you today. Some time ago, we were having a meeting with Bobby Hitt, who is the Secretary of Commerce for the state, at a gathering put together at the insistence of Representative Brian White and County Council. And the big topic during that discussion was we need a high school just like this in the state of South Carolina, because there's not one that exists. And so when Tom Wilson started his machinations. He got with Mr. Tommy Dunn and his machinations, and the idea was to go see Representative Brian White. And so, just so everybody knows that the seed money for this project, several $1 million, came from Representative Brian White. And so, the rest of the delegation put in about $20, but I'm just telling you that. Anyway, this is a great day, and this is the People's Building, and the only reason we're here is because of the penny sales tax. So if you want to know where your penny sales tax is going, it's going to create something that we in economic development in Anderson County have already been telling people that this building is going to be here. You won't believe it. It's going to be beside Tri-County Tech, and we're going to be so far ahead in training your employees that nobody will believe it. Well, some people believed it like Arthrex. They believed it, so they're coming here. We have another announcement next Friday. They're believing it. And then we have one late September, early October with 400 new jobs from another foreign country. So people are believing in Anderson County, but this puts us up into another level that nobody else in the state can touch. I just have to give it to the three superintendents, and we have three dynamic superintendents in case you didn't know. They all win numerous awards and get a whole lot of praise all over the state, and sometimes I don't know if we appreciate them like we should, but I think they deserve a big round of applause. And it goes without saying, the school boards. In Anderson County, we don't always get along with each other. Y'all might not know that, but I do. And we'll fight anybody that tries to mess with us, but sometimes amongst ourselves we have differences. But the men and women who serve on these school boards, it is not a glamorous position. It is where the rubber meets the road, and they are to be applauded for having the vision to do this. There are a lot of people running around in the world who have great visions and they have great ideas, but this vision is here. It's right here today, and it will go into effect this week. And I will conclude with saying in 25 years, not a person will know that we were here today or any idea what happened or how this came to be. But I can assure you that there will be people in Anderson County living a much better life, having a much better situation for their families, and making our community the #1 community it is in South Carolina. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. AIT staff has worked to develop partnerships among community leaders over the past 2 years. We would like to recognize one of those partners at this time and invite Mr. Galen DeHay, president of Tri-County Technical College, to the podium for some comments.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Tri-County Technical College, we are so pleased and thrilled to be a part of this partnership with the Anderson Institute of Technology. Today, Anderson School Districts 3, 4, and 5 are reaching a new milestone in providing state-of-the-art, top-quality career and technical education for the high school students in Anderson County. And Tri-County Technical College is so proud to be a partner with them. For months and months, we've been able to watch this project develop because if you haven't noticed, there's actually a sidewalk right around the side of the building that connects the Anderson campus of Tri-County Technical College to the AIT, and that was intentional. And I want to take a personal point of privilege to thank Dr. Bob Couch for his leadership, as well as Mr. Tim Bowen at Tri-County. He's the Anderson campus director. They have worked tirelessly with their teams to make this project possible, so thank you very much. So we have a shared goal with our 3 school districts in Anderson that are part of this project. Our shared goal is to develop clear, intentional pathways that allow students to seamlessly transition from the Anderson Institute of Technology to the Tri-County Technical College campus, and then on to the workplace. When I look over and see the sidewalk, that's just one example of a connection. But we have so many others. We have technical career pathway programs that you may be aware of, thanks to many of the individuals from our legislative delegation in Anderson County that are in this room today that made that project possible. That funds students who are in programs, who are in high school, to come to the college in partnership with districts 3, 4, and 5, and they will be at this institute as well at no cost. So that is tuition, books, and fees funded. And that is to be commended because we are reducing the cost of education for individuals who are going to the workforce in Anderson County. So individuals can literally leave high school with a college certificate, 1 year of a 2-year associate's degree under their belts, and then within 1 year be in the workforce. There are people in this room who have had their kids participate in that program who are moving into the workforce today, and that is just something to really be excited about. We're providing access to high school students who may have never even thought that college was an option for them. And having this facility located directly beside a college campus, I think is really groundbreaking in the way that Anderson County is thinking about workforce development. So I believe that the best is yet to come. Our partnership, along with our partners in business, industry, economic development, and community leaders, we're creating the workforce for tomorrow by preparing people for great jobs and jobs that don't even yet exist. So I look forward to our continued great work. Thank you, and congratulations on the project.
Thank you, President DeHaye. One of the busiest people in this room has been our next speaker. He took leadership of the AIT project in July 2017 and has worked with the building team. Hold on one second. I need to make sure I am in the right spot. Yes, I am. Sorry about that. He took leadership of the AIT project in July 2017 and has worked with the building team, the school district boards, the school district's liaison committee, along with business and community leadership groups, and the AIT staff to ensure AIT would meet the desired goals and mission. We would like to call Dr. Bob Couch, AIT Executive Director, to the podium. Director Couch.
Good afternoon again, and welcome. I have a lot of my family here. I think the majority of my family is here today, so I'm excited about that, along with some close friends who drove up from Columbia. And I've had congratulations, I think, from 15 states that have called and said they wish they could be here, all the way from California, celebrating our event as well today. I remember something my dad said when I was getting ready to get married. He said, son, let me give you a little bit of definition about marriage. He said, it's not about agreement, it's about consensus. So I would say, having been in state politics and have worked with school districts, it is about consensus. And I hope that as we move forward with AIT, that it has been a consensus building opportunity, not only for this county, but among all the partners who are involved in this project, in this effort. I think everyone has their footprint in this facility. And I think as students merge and come into here, it will become the AIT facility bound to the 3 school districts, but students with something in common to be prepared for the future workforce. Someone said a long time ago, I heard the speaker say, you never give somebody the podium who's been up for a month. So I've been up for a month, all right? Well, anyway, good afternoon, and I appreciate very much you being here. There have been a lot of recognitions that have been made previously, but I'd like to thank the district leadership and staff support from all 3 school districts, 3, 4, and 5, our county and city elected officials, staff members also for your support. I'd like to thank Wes Grant and his staff for his leadership with the facility coordinators of the 3 school districts and partnering with their staff to make AIT become a reality with the standard of excellence. Also would like to recognize today, I believe Senator Scott's office is represented here along with Congressman Duncan's office, and thank you also for being here. During the past 120 days, we have had major staff support from Anderson 5 because of all the things that have to be done here in terms of infrastructure support, the technology led by Ben Willis and his staff as a major task to undertake to get this facility ready for this moment today. And in the delivery and the purchase of equipment, there is a great partnership. Once the company is identified as to be the provider, it is the beginning. And so Rome Lindler, who is here today with his wife and multiple staff members from Southern Educational, we appreciate very much your efforts for delivering what we need to be delivered on time with minimal issues. And then someone has to pay for that, and the penny tax did. And part of that process is moving it through the fiscal agent, Ms. Amy Hurd, Assistant Superintendent for Finance of Anderson 5, Pam Hassan and her staff, along with Mike Mahaffey and Sabrina McCall. All of these have contributed greatly to the operational process of getting equipment in and getting people selected and getting people trained. And thanks to our custodial staff, Roy is in here. I met him a few weeks ago, and first thing he said to me, "Sir, there's one thing I believe in, it is the building being perfect." And I said, "Roy, me and you are already on the same team, because that's my goal as well." So Roy had a tough and challenging job, and his staff came out on top. The key to any plan is design and building of the design. I was delighted to learn that Patterson Smith was going to be the architect firm because I'd worked with him in Lexington before. Thanks to Michael Tuning and his leadership support, and we have some of his staff here today. I will do a little sidebar here with Michael. Dana Grant and I got a call one day that they're getting ready to do the color scheme for the building, and so we met with Michael and his folks, and I walked in and they rolled it out on the table. I cut my eye a little bit to look at Dana. I can see Dana saying, "Don't say it." So I said, "Michael, we're going to have to start over because the color scheme we've got does not match the plan that we have for the branding of the center." I only wish I could have got an emoji of his face when I said that, okay? Because architects are never ruffled about anything. In fact, Michael would be one that said if the sky is falling, he'd find a plan to catch it. So Michael looked at me with that sort of, you got to be kidding. Look, and you will see today what his team did with the color scheme, and it is unbelievable. And to H.G. Reynolds and his staff, Leland Reynolds as well, for their standard of excellence. We'll be around for a few weeks to come to make sure that all things are in order and are working. We're already positioned right now in ag science to have a great opportunity in the research center there within 30 days of having that facility up and operational, and that will enable us to do some incredible research for behavior issues with animals, diseases, treatments, and cures, and we'll be joining Clemson University in that effort. To the Office of Economic Development and Workforce Development, we thank you for your support as well, and to the AIT staff, Dana Grant, and others who have made this possible today with the organizational skills and development. Thank you for your efforts. The highlights have been in the building the partnerships within the community. In the educational partnerships are here today. Tri-County Technical College, Anderson University, and Clemson University are represented here today as major partners with us with Districts 3, 4, and 5 as we move forward in building a greater community here in Anderson County. One of the ideas I had was for several years, is how can I get business involved more directly and visible in a secondary facility. Having tried it before, it was never really fully accepted until I arrived here with these 3 school districts and superintendents. So I want to thank our Michelin partner, Michelin North America, Robert Bosch LLC, Granger Nissan, MedShore, South Carolina Aeronautical Commission, Appalachian Regional Commission, and developing partnerships with Arthrex, Lockheed, Frigidaire, Electrolux, many other business partners, along with the County Board of Education, the faith community, Anderson Chamber of Commerce, and United Way. We're excited about the present. but even more excited about the future. The idea that was turned over in Anderson County for some time about a facility, as you've heard earlier, turned into an idea, a penny tax, as Superintendent Wilson and the superintendents in 3 and 4, Kathy Hipp and Dr. Joanne Anderson, came together along with their school boards to make this reality. And so as we move forward with this effort, we will have the opportunity to be able to move mountains in this community with a future workforce. And I want to say thank you again to the Board of Trustees of the 3 school districts for your support, for your leadership in helping this to become a reality. Karl Barth, 20th century writer, stated, and I quote, "Although no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone can start from now and make a new ending," end of quote. We believe the teachers who taught in Lakeside Middle School in years past and the students who walked on these grounds did not realize they were making a new ending. So in 2019, we cannot go back to the school of the past, but we certainly embrace that history. And we began anew, creating a new ending for the current and future generations. In closing, we celebrate this historical event. I hope all those who bought in the idea of Anderson Institute of Technology will realize, while recognizing the past, it was not reinventing the past, but embracing a new ending and a new future, prepare young people in a new workforce that is globally involved and inclined here in our county. And again, to the 3 school districts, I know there's a great opportunity lying ahead for all of your students as we embrace this future. And again, I say thanks to Kathy Hipp, Superintendent Anderson 3, Dr. Joanne Anderson, Superintendent of Anderson 4, and Superintendent Tom Wilson for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this historical legacy. I will be eternally grateful for the opportunity to be part of helping AIT students achieve their hopes and dreams for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Couch. We'd like to recognize Superintendent Kathy Hipp of Anderson School District 3 and a member of the AIT Liaison Committee for her comments. And I believe Mrs. Hipp attended Lakeside Middle School, is that correct?
No.
Oh. Okay. Where did you go to school?
Crescent High School.
Come on. Thank you.
It is kind of odd that he made that connection because I'm a Crescent High School graduate. I've been in education 31 years, and the only year I didn't work in Anderson School District 3, I worked at Lakeside Middle School. And that was the year I transitioned from a high school biology teacher to a 7th grade guidance counselor. And so I do have a few ties to Lakeside Middle School, but I'm a proud 1984 graduate of Crescent High School. I'm completely excited, humbled, blessed, and any other word that you can put into it to stand up here to represent Anderson School District 3. It makes a difference when you do a project for a community that you're from and that you believe in. And so I wanted to start my comments. It's kind of odd, Mr. Burns, that you talked about 25 years from now, because I want to make a connection, but I'm going to have to go back 25 years to do it. You see, 25 years ago, a group of softball parents and a softball coach and his assistants went to the school board of Anderson School District 3 and said, "Our girls deserve a softball field on the Crescent campus. They don't need to play on the city field. That's a rec field." And at the time, economics wouldn't allow you to build a field. In fact, one of the board members even told me as an assistant coach, he said, "Kathy, you know we need a field at the high school, but you also know we need a career center." And so there's been a vision for a career center a long, long time. But I tell you that to say a group of parents and coaches and community and the school board and businesses got together and said to the school board, can we raise money and build a field? And in a very short time, a small group of people raised over $60,000 and tons of labor and support from local businesses and built a softball field. And their catchphrase was from the Field of Dreams movie, if you build it, they will come. There's a less remembered quote in that movie that also says, when you do the impossible, incredible things come true. And I give you that as a framing my thoughts because about 5 years ago, Dr. Gary was our superintendent, and he's in the room, and he came back to the school board and to the staff and said, we're talking about a penny sales tax. And the capstone project for us will be a career center. And we went to our community and meetings. Mr. Wiles was there, Mr. Watt was there for some of them, Hugh Smith was there for some of them. Dr. Gary and I, Dr. Gary did most of the talking, I was just there for support. And we told our community what that penny sales tax would do for Anderson School District 3. And we told them, if you build it, they'll come. And I look back and the sales tax passed overwhelmingly for Anderson County, but I think it passed in every voting precinct in the Anderson District 3 area, which tells you that our district was bought into the idea of this being the capstone project. And so, you know, what started with that vision 25 years ago to build a field and 5 years ago or so to pass a penny sales tax has come full circle today. We have built it, and there's a lot of people to thank for that. And I do thank our school board, Mr. Curtis Wiles sitting on the front here, who's our board chairman, Mr. Marty Watt, co-chairman, Mr. Tripp Balknight, who was not on the board at the time, but has been supportive in his 2 years on it. I think Mr. Balknight's father, Smith, may be in the audience somewhere, and he's long legacy of school board members who have supported children in Anderson School District 3, and we're so glad you're here today to mark this occasion. We couldn't have done this without the collective work of all the Anderson County districts who worked together to pass the penny tax. We couldn't have done this without the school boards of District 3, 4, and 5, Mr. Wilson and Dr. Avery. I'll make one more connection that I think is pretty special, especially if you know anything about softball. When we built the field, there was a legendary coach who asked to build it, okay? Legendary in the sense of 19 state championships, 33 consecutive region championships. He's in state, local, and national Hall of Fames. When we started this project, and I saw Dr. Bob Couch's resume come to our hand, I thought, we got a Hall of Fame Career Center director right here. I don't think there's a Hall of Fame for Career Center directors, but if there were one, Dr. Couch would be the first inductee. And so I want to thank Dr. Couch for working with us, which is not always easy, over these last years to get this building open. I want to thank Jimmy Armstrong and Dana Grant for working through that process. It's no small milestone to go from nothing and build this and everything that goes with it. So I'll conclude my remarks just to say today, we have built it. They're coming August 19th. And it's amazing what you can do when you look at the impossible and incredible things happen. And that's what we're on the cusp of. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Hibb. We'd like to recognize Dr. Joanne Avery, Superintendent of Anderson School District 4 and a member of the Liaison Committee, and invite her up to come on up for her comments. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a day we all have been looking forward to. What started as a conversation between three superintendents about the possibility of a state-of-the-art shared career center more than 6 years ago is now a momentous reality for students in Anderson School District 3, 4, and 5, as well as the economic vitality of our communities. Automation and advanced technology are fundamentally changing the American economy. The shift from manual skills to jobs that require critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, advanced reading, and technological skills is only intensifying. Thanks to the efforts of many, the Anderson Institute of Technology will transform learning, giving students of Anderson 3, 4, and 5 a critical edge and seamless pathway to obtaining industry credentials and post-secondary education. As we look to the future, we can only imagine the incredible impact the Anderson Institute of Technology will have in meeting our community's employment needs. The strong message to our students and families will be the value career technical education pathways deliver, important industry credentials, job opportunities, job security, and strong salaries. And let us remember, however, that these credentials are just the first mile markers on a student's career path and not their final destination. The assembly of the Anderson Institute of Technology Career Center was no small feat. There were many hands that made this happen. So on behalf of Anderson School District 4 Board of Trustees, Mr. Danny Brock, Dr. Tom Dobbins, Mrs. Paulette Great, Mrs. Diana Mulliken, and Mrs. Cindy Steele, as well as the administration in Anderson School District 4, we want to thank former Superintendent Dr. Lee DeAndre of Anderson School District 4 and Dr. Mason Gary of Anderson School District 3, and Anderson School District 5's current superintendent, Mr. Tom Wilson, for the vision that you had for our students and community. Your tireless efforts and dedication produced a high-quality technical career learning environment at the business and industry standard. It offers many post-secondary career paths, which is not only a game changer for our students, but will be a significant attraction to new business and industry in our area. To Representative Brian White and the other members of the Anderson County delegation, for your steadfast support of the Anderson Institute of Technology and for your critical efforts during the early stages in pushing for special legislation that provided Anderson County school districts with the opportunity to hold a referendum for a local 1-cent sales tax. To the citizens of Anderson County, for your overwhelming support on November 4th, 2014, which has not only led to capital improvement projects for public schools throughout the county, but to the important high-tech learning opportunities that as individual school districts we would have never been able to provide. Dr. Bob Couch, when we hired you 2 years ago, we shared our vision of a world-class career technical education experience for students, and you delivered. You and your team are to be commended for the outstanding job you have done with working with 3 different school systems in the creation of South Carolina's first career technical education center that offers an innovative approach to artificial intelligence, smart technology, incubator lab, virtual augmented reality, patent process for student projects, capstone projects, and so much more. The architects McMillan, Pazin, and Smith and their consulting engineers, the general contractor H.G. Reynolds Company, the numerous subcontractors and suppliers, the third-party inspectors, and Molly Spearman's Office of School Facilities, for the outstanding job you have done in delivering to us this world-class facility. Local businesses and industries who have partnered with and generously donated to AIT for helping to provide industry-standard learning environments and expanded opportunities for students to learn in the workplace through internships, apprenticeships, and job shadowing. Superintendents Hipp and Wilson and their respective school board members for the spirit of collaboration, commitment, and determination for removing barriers and finding solutions to ensure this partnership's success. And finally, to Anderson 5's leadership team. You have been nothing short of tremendous in overseeing the collaborative efforts in the planning, construction, and operations of the Anderson Institute of Technology. We are appreciative of the extra efforts given on behalf of our students. Today, we celebrate a monumental moment, the first of many, to have a profound influence on our communities for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Avery. We'd like to recognize Superintendent Tom Wilson of Anderson School District 5 and an Anderson Institute of Technology Liaison Committee member for his comments regarding the opening of this institute. Superintendent Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be with you today, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell a Lakeside story. And I think my story surpasses everyone's. In 1986, backing up, I graduated from T.L. Hanna High School. I was Mr. Palmer's outstanding math student. He's with us today. And as I've told the folks several times, I wandered into Georgia wilderness for 40 years before I came back to Anderson. But in 1986, I was an assistant principal in Georgia, and I applied for the principal's job at Lakeside Middle School. I still have the Dear John letter I received when I didn't get the job. So it was great pleasure to see it demolished since they didn't hire me. So I feel somewhat vindicated for making me drive all the way up here and interview with, I forget, all I remember, she had her hair up in a bun and didn't speak very much, and I knew I wasn't going to get the job. So, but it's great to be with you, and I just want to echo what some other folks have said. And we'd like to thank the architects, McMillan, Passon, and Smith. Michael Tunin is with us today. Michael's a great person to work with. It's a great company. I know a lot of the other districts work with them. HG Rentals and Leland Rentals. We'd see Leland fly his helicopter in here and land and fly back out to Augusta and just been great partners. Also, all the school district staff from districts 3, 4, and 5 that had a part in this. As it got closer to completion, it was more and more work to do, and all those folks worked exceptionally well together. Southern Educational Systems, Rome Linder, those are the folks, when you walk around and you see a lab with $600,000 worth of equipment in it, that's our vendor that worked with us to get those placed and in there. And a special thank you, we could not have done this without Representative Brian White. And I'm going to tell a little story in a few minutes about how we got here. But also we have some other members of our delegation, Representative Jay West, Senator Gambrell, who was in the House at the time that we passed this. And we would not be here today without the late Senator Billy Odell, who was in the Senate and was able to pass this through the Senate against opposing odds to get our bill signed by the governor and allow a referendum. Senator Odell passed away a few years ago and was a great leader and a great supporter of Anderson school districts, even though he had a small portion of Anderson County. Also, a special thank you to Dr. Bob Couch. Bob is he's a rock star in career tech education. I was in Georgia speaking to some folks a while when we first hired him, and they go, "Oh, we know Bob Couch. He testified in the Georgia General Assembly about career ed and pathways, and he's known around not only in the Southeast but around the country." And a special thank you to my school board, who's seated in the front row. Ms. Hewitt cannot be with us today because of illness. They gave me the opportunity to come back to Anderson in 2013. And I've been very fortunate to have a great board to work with, and I value their friendship and their professionalism so much. What I'd like to do with my time remaining is take you back how we got here. It was in the fall of 2013. David Havard, myself, Richard Rosenberger, Mason Gary, and Lee DeAndre, we started meeting and talking about, and when I got here, I said, we don't have any money. We don't have any money to do anything, to build things. And so we started brainstorming, and we had a sales tax in Georgia. They're very popular, been going on since 1998. You can't pass a bond referendum there because sales tax has been so positive. So we started meeting and planning and talking and brainstorming, and we met with Representative White at that time in my office across the street, and we did our sales pitch, and I remember vividly what he said. He said, if you think you can convince the voters of Anderson County to pass a 1-cent sales tax, I'm going to give you the opportunity to let them vote. And he kept his word, and I thank you, Brian. So the next step was, how do we get 5 school boards, 5 superintendents, the county board, how do we get all of them to sign off on this? And how are we going to split the money, and, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a meeting orchestrated by former board member Dickie Smith, who's with us today. And we met at McConnell's farm, McConnell's hunting lodge. It was like a scene out of a Martin Scorsese movie. Literally, it was like Goodfellas. We're in this place that I'd never been there, and we drove, and you're kind of isolated, and we started talking, and other board members that are here with us today were there, and we started laying it all out, and everybody said, let's go for it. And every board member and the county board, it was unanimous. There was not a dissenting vote. And ladies and gentlemen, for 5 school boards, that's incredible. And to all those school boards, and 2 of them aren't with us today, Districts 1 and 2, I say thank you. Because without that vision, we wouldn't be here today. And what that told me was, a simple thing is, we're surrounded by leaders. See, managers manage, leaders create. And that's what those school boards did. They created opportunity for something as special as this to be created. Well, I thought that was going to be the hard part. That was the easy part. So Representative White, we get it in the House, it passes, we get it out of the House, when it goes to the Senate, and it gets locked down in political quagmire. Whoever said that making laws is like making sausage was correct. It's ugly. And we're down there a lot. Kyle Newton's with me, works with me. We're at the Capitol, we're checking, we're talking, is this thing? And fortunately for Senator Odell and our friends in Aiken County, our bill was attached to their bill because they had a sales tax referendum as well. And believe it or not, South Carolina has something we didn't have when I was in Georgia for 40 years, which is a veto session. And they come back and they meet, and any bill that's been brought up can be voted on during the veto session. And and correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, on the last day, in the last hour of the veto session, our bill cleared the Senate. And I started calling it Lazarus, raised from the dead. And I would get a call, we're good, we're bad, we're good, we're bad. And it was just so unbelievable. But it passed. The governor, Nikki Haley, signed it. So now we had to figure out how we're going to pass this thing. And I want to thank specifically Mason Gary, who Kathy mentions with us, and also Lee DeAndre, and along with David Havard and Richard Rosenberger, we kind of formed a campaign team. A lot of places we spoke together, and a lot of places we do individual, and it was all about, it wasn't about Friday night football. It wasn't about, you have more schools than me, or you're bigger, or you're smaller. It was about, look, we're all are going to benefit if we pass this thing. And on in November of 14, we're all at the Civic Center to count the votes. And we're there, and my wife, and we didn't know how it was going to go. Because I'm sure these elected officials will tell you that you never met anybody that didn't tell you they were going to vote for you. You know. So everybody I'd say, oh yeah, we got this, we're for this. And I remember one man said, Tom, I'm going to vote for it, but you got to remember one thing. We're just Anderson. And I said, well, when this passes, we're not going to say that anymore. And I said, we're not just Anderson. We are Anderson. And it passed in a landslide, 53%. In today's political world, that is a landslide, right, Senator? And it was just so exciting, and it has far exceeded all our expectations of what that one penny would bring in. So far to date, we've collected 51 checks, 51 months. The first check was in March of 15. So in 51 months, that penny has brought in right at $99 million. And we have 129 more months to go. So it's bringing in an average of $1.9 million a month. Not one month has ever been less than the preceding corresponding month the year before. For example, this March was more than last March. Last March was more than the preceding, which tells you the economy is growing, retail's growing, and more revenue's coming in. At the current rate, if it stays exactly like it is, which hopefully it won't and probably won't, it will generate another $258 million, so for a grand total of around $360 million when all's said and done. Reality, it'll probably be closer to $400 million because we have 129 more months to go. That has been a game changer for not only District 5, but for all districts. If you ride around, every district has done different things, built things, added things, technology, fields, rooms, classrooms, technology. And it's just been a blessing to be a part of it. We will spend every penny of it, I assure you. And remember that 20% off the top goes to reduce the debt you pay on your homes. As I had a meeting with my board chair the other day, and we were talking about it, and I said, we need to renew this thing in about 2028. Don't let it expire. I said, I probably won't be here in 2028. I hope I'm somewhere. I said, but I don't want to work till I'm old. And I said, we renew it. I can't speak for the other districts. District 5 had a $140 million bond referendum in 2007. We renew it. District 5 can become debt-free and pay off those bonds, sell bonds on the new sales tax, and pay all that off with sales tax, and we'll be debt-free. And probably the other districts will probably be in the same boat. That's how much can happen if we renew this again. So I hope, if I am here in 2029, I'll work hard to pass it. And I think all of us, I think we have a great chance to do it because every district, all 5 districts has done everything we said we would do and more. The list that we handed out, the 5 of us and Dr. Avery and Ms. Hipp, everything we said we were going to do has been done and more. And we did it with letting all those people from Georgia pay 30% of it. I did ask Dabo Sweeney if he could have 11 home games. That would really help us. And when it's not a home game, we hope, when they do have a game, I'd like for it to rain. So everybody's got to stop at Grady's and Walmart and buy grain gear that they'd left at home and spend money. So a lot of, in all seriousness, it's been a great opportunity for me personally. Working with Dr. Avery and Ms. Hipp, it's been a pleasure. We've There weren't times we always saw eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we all had our eye on what's best for kids. And that's the end game. I've been married forever, and I don't always agree with my wife. And some days I love her more than others. But at the end of the day, we always stick together and do what's best for our family. And I want to thank you, Kathy and Joanne, for your work and as we went through this. And I would like, and he told me not to do it, but I want to thank Wes Grant. Wes, would you stand up? Yeah. Wes was the spearhead that led construction. A few years ago, we about killed him when we redid the stadiums at the high schools. And one day I came to work. I said, Wes, you look bad. It was in the summer. I said, is your exercise regimen okay? Are you sleeping well? He goes, no, I'm killing myself working. And but it's beautiful, Wes. And I know a lot of people had a part in it, but I want to thank you specifically. In closing, the book of Deuteronomy tells us that we will harvest from vineyards we did not plant, and we will drink from wells that we did not dig. Years from now, kids are going to harvest from this vineyard. And they're not, as Rusty said, they're not going to remember who dug the wells. But everybody in this room had a part in it. Every voter, every parent, every consumer had a part in making this vineyard have abundant fruit for the next 50 or 60 years. It will change. 20 years from now, these programs will change because technology will change. There'll be programs existing that don't even exist today. And we will change with it. The building will probably be added on at some time. Different things will happen. Different leaders will come. But I hope the vision that we all feel today will continue. And on behalf of all those thousands of kids that will enter these doors over the next 25, 50 years, they can't say it to you today, but on their behalf, I want to say thank you, job well done. Thank you.
The Reverend and I agree that was a good speech. Good speech. Good speech. Okay, thank you, Superintendent Wilson. And thank you all for attending this historic event today, this opening of the Anderson Institute of Technology. And it's now time to show off the place.
Here today and why this is such an important thing for Tri-County Tech and for our kids coming up in the schools now.
So with the workforce demands that exist today, it's imperative that K through 12, high schools in particular, and technical colleges work in a much more intentional way to create structured paths for our students. So we're just excited to be able to work with 3 school districts. I think it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to work with 3 different school districts to provide access to affordable, high-quality education that leads directly to a job. So our technical career pathways are just one way that Tri-County Technical College partners with Anderson Districts 3, 4, and 5. And we're just so excited to be able to have one facility literally connected to our Anderson campus to provide ease of access for many of our students who are rural students who may not have been able to even find their way to college, and then for other individuals who may have never even thought that college was possible for them and their families to come to college while still attending high school.
Do you think this will influence the way that Tech and the schools plan for the future and future education?
Oh, absolutely. We're already seeing some wonderful opportunities come up with the programming that occurred at the Anderson Institute of Technology. Tri-County and the school district worked together in harmony throughout the entire planning process from conception all the way to the completion. So virtually every program has a pathway designed or is in process of having a pathway designed for students to continue their education at Tri-County Technical College in a clear pathway. And the wonderful thing is that many of these pathways are fully funded so that students who are in high school can complete college coursework at no cost.
You've been involved in trying to make this thing a reality for a long time. How does it feel to be here today and see it actually come to pass?
Oh gosh, I can't explain how proud it makes me of the community. One, it all started with collaboration, and I think you heard the speakers talk about having those meetings and the different districts coming together, which was kind of strange for Anderson and people that dealt with Anderson. So, there was all this infighting for so long, but we went ahead and we strive forward. Even in adversity, we did. And just imagine if everybody's collectively together, pulling for the right mission and making, and that's what happened, and that's what's made this a reality. Is all 5 school districts got together, their boards got together, county council got together, the delegation, the whole thing worked, and I think you're going to see this is a state-of-the-art, one-of-a-kind facility in the state of South Carolina, and I think in the whole Southeast. And what makes it unique that we push and strive for was the proximity to Tri-County Technical College. If you can start putting career centers adjacent to a technical college campus to make that seamless pathway of getting career ready, and we're talking about technology, we're talking about veterinary sciences, we're talking about aviation, automation, they call it AI, all these different things that we're doing here. Go over next door in the afternoon and take your general classes, come out with an associate's degree once you graduate, shortly after you graduate high school, debt free. The beautiful part of it is you're not starting out your family saddled with debt. You're able to buy a car, you're able to buy a home, those durable products that keeps an economy going because you're not having to pay student loans. And that is part of the American dream. Is owning a home, being a good citizen, being a taxpayer, all these things that we need to do. We're not done yet. This is just the beginning of a great future for Anderson and folks in South Carolina.
Your name kept coming up in the speakers. What kind of personal satisfaction does it give you knowing you've been a part of this, a real part of this?
It's very humbling. I'm not one that likes to go out and toot my horn or say things, but this is something that we did, and Tom spoke about it, and then Mr. Burns and some others, but look, we're all elected officials. I don't do anything by myself. There's 170 of us in Columbia, and there's a governor that has to do things. But there's also school boards. There's also county councils. And he was right. I told him, he came to me, he says, what do you think? I said, basically, if you can get the buy-in of everyone, I will get you the opportunity to have that referendum, to put it before the people. And that is kind of, and if the people speak and that's what they want to do, that's what we should do. And it was a game changer. That's what we kept saying. This is a game changer. Being really involved in education, working with Dalen before he became president and what he was doing with the workforce, starting the Pathways program in the state that he spoke about on the scholarship program, having already started that, seeing this come in, knowing what we need to do to change education in South Carolina. This is the game changer. This is the model. And I'm so humbled and proud that it's in Anderson.
And I was just thinking, has there been another referendum to show this kind of results this quickly that you can think of?
No, there were others in the past, is what Tom referred to, that lost. And when we talked, said, look, you got to just limit to a certain amount of things. We're not going to hire people out of sales tax. You can, and we actually got them to increase the debt amount. Usually it's 10%. So we got them to go 20% of the debt relief, which they're keeping quiet. They don't tell a lot of folks. I told them, I said, y'all need to buy a billboard or run a TV ad. This is how much this penny has reduced your debt on school operations. So it reduces that debt on the bonded indebtedness of the schools on your property tax bill. And most people don't even know it. And I said, we're going to go 20%. We're not going 10, let's go 20. And they came in with, hey, we want these things. And those were achievable, like I said, technology. Which is, you look, the technology, the penny we did, what little bit of money we give on the state. District 5 is buying Chromebooks for all the students. Then we came back the last couple of years with Tom and I worked together with his district to implement e-learning days. I guess you've seen that. All this is spawned out of this. So now we don't have snow days. So we're saving money. If we can implement that statewide, which is another goal, you can save hundreds of millions of dollars a year on makeup days. It'll pay for itself.
Tell me why we're here today and why this is important for Anderson County.
We're here for the grand opening of the Career Center for 3, 4, and 5, and it's very important. I think it's going to be a game changer as far as getting our young people trained and educated and ready for a work job, and I think it's going to help fulfill the educational tool we need to get our young people trained for new jobs and this kind of thing. And also, it's going to do a sidebar to this. I think it's going to revitalize 28 bypass, something much needed too. I think it's already going to see starting of that, and it's going to pay off big dividends in the long run.
And how's the partnership with Tri-County Tech been an important part of this?
Oh, it's great. I mean, that's a very important part of this, to have that relationship to give on. It's only a win-win for our citizens and win-win for our industrial people.
And talking about our industry partners, this is an important way to get our kids and our people trained to help the county grow economically, correct?
That's right, and keep our workforce going. This can help like Michelin Tire, First Quality, any of them. Start to ground what kind of training they need. They can start here in high school, go on Tri-County Tech, and it's just a game changer. I really do think. I don't think there's nothing like it around the state. It's going to the relationships we got, and very excited about it.
Why this is important to the community of Anderson?
Yeah, so as you know, we're cutting the ribbon today for the Anderson Institute of Technology, which is a tremendous opportunity, collaborative effort between Anderson School Districts 3, 4, and 5. Something that we've been working on. I was talking with some of the other board members earlier. The penny sales tax passed back in November of 2014. So you talk about something that's been almost 5 years in the making, and to see all of that just come to fruition here today, and to see the community involvement, the involvement the county had, and the part that they played in it, I think truly a collaborative effort between not only just the school districts, but Anderson County, and what a game changer from an economic development standpoint for the students of Anderson School Districts 3, 4, and 5, something that I think that we'll truly see the fruits of 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now because of the investment we made in our students today.